To the midterm madness ahead of early voting kicking off in 7 more states and the District of Columbia today. New numbers are out showing Republicans may have the edge on turnout. 45% of Republicans describe themselves as extremely interested in the election, compared with just 30% of Democrats in a new Fox News poll. The spread is even greater in a Gallup poll, a reason why the president is hitting the trail. But the Weekly Standard's Mike Warren says he's going to have a hard time rubbing up his base. But, you know, he is going, Mike, to those places where he can at least motivate the base. It's places like Chicago and elsewhere where he still has a degree of popularity. Could that move the needle enough? What do you think?
Maybe. You know, you look at those states, it's not just Chicago. He's talking about going to Connecticut. He was just in Maryland, in fact, this past weekend. But, you know, everybody's watching this on TV. Everybody sees Barack Obama campaigning. And I think when voters see Barack Obama out there, they're going to be reminded, wait a second, we don't really like Barack Obama right now. We don't like what he's done on ISIS. We're not too confident in what the federal government's doing on Ebola. And so I think any association with President Obama and these midterm elections is bad news for the Democrats. It just reminds voters that they don't like the Democrats.
All right, but as people like you remind me, sometimes this isn't about talking to the voters in aggregate, but about getting at least a few more members of the base who typically wouldn't turn out for a midterm election to turn out. So it isn't 30% of turnout, but maybe 33 or 34%, which could make the difference in the Senate tipping Republican or Democrat, right?
Right, but I think you've got to look at the sort of marginal product of President Obama coming out there for these candidates. It's on the wane. You look at that appearance he had over the weekend in Maryland, in Prince George's County. It's right outside here, Washington, D.C. It's Obama country. It really is Obama country. And people were leaving the rally as President Obama was taking the stage. I really think it's a total different ballgame than it was 2, 4, certainly 6 years ago when Obama had all this sort of electoral power. There was a Wall Street Journal poll that you didn't mention that showed that among people who are really not that interested in these midterm elections, Democrats are winning them by 10 points. The same poll found that among people who were most interested, most excited about voting in this election, Republicans were winning them by 10 points. I think there's just a real enthusiasm gap, and I don't think that President Obama has the electoral power anymore to get that enthusiasm up among Democrats.
Interesting stuff. Mike Warren, always the case. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Neil.